Listeners and viewers, are you ready for episode 3 of the Jedi's Invest move to Indonesia? It's great to be back. Some big shouts outs before we begin. Erin, ERRG to the B to the C in Guangzhou. Hope you're well, brother. Barry Hatcher, not the milk snatcher, I think in Portugal now. Christian, big shout out to you too in Bali. We're so close to each other now. When are we finally gonna see each other after so long? Keegan, arrow to Mr. Keegan, all the way now in Abu Dhabi, the UAE. Getting ready, I believe, tonight for your first Aquanaut event. DJ Medusa. I hope she doesn't turn you all to stone. That wouldn't be a very good disco. Alan Domenico, Mr. D, all the way in Malta. Looking forward to seeing you guys when you come over here to Bali in December. What a Christmas present that is. Jan McDermott, my old accountant in Northwest England. So good to hear from you, Jan. Thanks for your comments. And I hope you're doing well there. Another true Red supporter. Mr. Klulo, Mark Klulowski, down in Thailand, I do believe, Mark. Great to hear from you too. And of course, the one and only Vonnie, hopefully sitting there in your hot tub or cold tub on your terrace in Zhuhai, sipping something other than water. Ron, stretching for fitness. How you doing, Ron? Thanks for your comments. The Mosquito Man in Jakarta. And Aaron, a big shout out to you too, you and your family in Lizhou, China. And finally, Natta Aka, the natty bad man, my new Sasak friend down the road in Kuta, all to be revealed later. There we go. The tissue is off the screen. How high quality we are here in the Indonesian studios of Kuta. It's great to be back. My gosh, we have a full show today. So much to get through. I will go through as quick as I can. It's not going to be 15 minutes, but hey, you can pause it and come back to us later. Before we begin and get into stuff, I do have to just make a small apology. Well, an apology to the International Mosquito Protection Society. Actually, I was searching for an image of this. There is actually one, and it's acton28.blog. My friend John Acton in Dongguan, South China. John, well done for, sticking up for mosquitoes. I do apologize to everyone when that mosquito came along on the screen. I don't know if I made full impact with it, but if I did, I do apologize. Yes, it's not something we want to be spreading, killing sentient beings in our world, however problematic they may be. So apologies to the Guangdong International Mosquito Protection Society. Okay, let's get into things then. It's episode 3. We've been here now for what? September, October. I think it's about 6 or 7 weeks, right? Oh, yeah. So finally, we are now on TikTok. Is this big news? I don't really know. Actually, Zach, our oldest son, is running the show here. Please check us out if you're on TikTok, Plop, Lombok, at Bradshaw Wildchilds, at Bradshaw Wildchilds. For those who know us, you could probably tell that's quite a fitting name. 4 boys. I mean, what else can you do? So there you go. We're now on TikTok, and Zach is running the show there. So maybe some fun bits and bobs there if you're interested in subscribing. I hate the word follow. We are not sheep. Let's move on. The pick of stun. Well, this month or last month's picture, it's got to be this one for me. It encompasses a hell of a lot of feelings. I don't know if I mentioned, but it's very hard in the last country we relocated from, lovely as it is to actually just light a fire and be a real human being. You can't beat lighting a fire, sitting around it and just staring into the magical colors. There's something primordial and beautiful about it. This is on a beach in Sangigi. We were lighting them every night, basically, right near our guest house room. So that, you know, it's one of those things I was really looking forward to doing, because whenever I tried to do it in the big sea, I was shut down with a megaphone and a whistle and 2 or 3 security guards. So there you go. Of course, anyone lighting fires, we always like to respectfully put them out and not burn anything else except what we were burning. So, of course, I think as you get to adult age, you should be able to do that. I believe we're responsible enough. Let's go over some world news. My gosh, is it all happening in the world now? It's not just one country or two. Everywhere is feeling the full effects of, I think, system disillusion. Everything is cracking apart that is not honest and real and truthful and integral and loving. It's all falling apart around us. And yes, the corrupt mainstream media is still carrying the same old tunes. Let's have a little look. On the BBC, mortgage lenders halt some deals after the pound dramatically falls. I mean, I think we're going to be seeing the euro and the dollar and the pound all 1-to-1 very soon over the coming years. Direct hit as NASA smashed its spacecraft into asteroid. Well done, NASA. Yes, well done there. That's really movie stuff, huh? New King Charles, the royal cipher revealed. Okay, we'll get onto that in a bit later. Russia admits errors during war mobilization drive. Is there anything ever positive about Russia anymore? You really wonder if journalists are showing all sides of the situation. Bank fails to calm market as pound quartanks. I've told about millions turn to second jobs as living costs soar. I mean, if not one job is bad enough, now you've got to do 2. England held in 6-goal thriller by Germany. That's the men's one, I believe. Yeah, typical England, not getting through to the end with victory. Worcester suspended and put into administration. Well, that's another big club going down the plonk due to bad administration and management. 5 ways the falling pound could affect you. Yeah, it's all crashing down, and it's not just going to be the pound. I think we are in that age, I think, as I said before, where these systems are coming down because they are not sustainable. We've got to make new ones, decentralized ones, in my opinion. Fury says Joshua fight off as deadline expires. And, oh, how utterly ridiculous. I like this one. Utterly ridiculous. Firefighters spend 3 hours removing cow stuck in a tree. Unfortunately, this was in Hampshire in England. Had to be rescued by firefighters. It got stuck in a tree and the cow couldn't remove itself from its predicament and looked a little bit moody. Oh, dear me. Look. Do you trust this lady? Of course you do. She's got a name that just sounds just like it. What's her name? Liz Truss or something like this. Well, it's in England, our first female prime minister, right? After good old Maggie Thatcher, shall I say? Sorry, rhyming everything here. It's not intentional. But I mean, I'd like to just pose this question to viewers and listeners, especially those in England now. Have you seen the movie? And when we were locked down in England in 2020, I watched it on BBC, one of the BBC digital channels. Here's Emma Thompson acting the role of a UK woman prime minister in very troubling times, which you could say we're in at the moment in England. I really, really do. There's such a likeness there, how things in the movies seem to come true, almost if it's not really coincidence. Years and years. I recommend watching this show. It's very interesting. It goes into the the advancing AI agenda. It's all in there. And yeah, go and check it out and just see if there's any likenesses with what's happened around us in the movie set that we're currently physically based in. So there you go. And of course, good old Queenie. To be fair, hats off if I had one, or my Jedi hat over there. You did a long stint. You did a good show. Is that water there you're holding? I wonder if it is water or something else. Well, you're old enough to have a drink, aren't you, dear? Nice blue light blue turquoisey top there. Yes, commiserations to the Queen. Again, a big system coming down. I would believe that she's probably been dead, with all due respect, for quite some time. But this is the time that the media finally allows us to know what's going on. Well, just a little bit, of course. So let's move on from the world news. There's a time shot there. Okay, let's start with the headlines then. Horrific as they may be. Let's start with the right, shall we? So we left our lovely cat Marley in China. It was, I think it would have cost us $12,000 to bring her over here. Shall I say smuggle her over here? And quite frankly, we also believe that maybe it's just not right. Queen Marley's never lived on the land. She's always been, well, 20 floors up, or at least 8 floors up in an apartment, treated like a queen of Sheba. And bringing her over here to kind of the tropics, where there's so many things out there that could bite her. We just don't know if it's the right thing. So she's being looked after by Long Long, who I think is taking very well care of her there. You can see he's put her in an oven. But don't worry, listeners, viewers, it's a pet time oven. It just cooks them up. So I think all the dirt and bacteria and bad microbes are irradiated. Hopefully Marley's not been. And on the left, we see the back of myself. This is after the first day we began surfing. I taken the two older boys, Jazz and Zach, surfing. We've just started. We'll talk more about this in the future. But would you believe the first time I got up on the board, my short split, as you can see, in not a very good area. And so, yeah, that was quite funny. Of course, when I took the surfboard off to the beach when we finished a 2-hour session, I totally forgot, bent down to put the surfboard down, turned around and saw a load of people looking at me very strangely from under the cover of a cafe. And I then had to quickly remember, and I apologized and said it was a very big wave. But yeah, surfing's underway. We're really enjoying it. And for all those surfers out there, the rush of getting up onto the board for the first time and being pushed by the natural motion of the wave is just, well, it's undescribable, really, and highly addictive. So a lot more hard, tough knocks and learnings on the way to come, I'm sure, but the boys are really loving it. And I hope to get some good video footage, photos of that in the near future. Big date coming up for us. It's Kai's 3rd birthday on the 27th of October. Finally, he loses the stereotype of being in the terrible twos, although, of course, I can't see it changing too quickly as he turns to 3. But you never know. I'm praying every day. Good old Kai. Quite a tough one to handle, I must admit. So there's your headlines for you. Let's get stuck into all things what we've been doing over this past month since we last were connecting with you. Where have we been? Well, this is Lombok, which hopefully you should be familiar with now. 35 miles to the east of Bali, Indonesia. And we are down here in Kuta. We're basing ourselves in Kuta. I'm recording this from the same place I believe I recorded the last one, in the Holiday Lombok Resort Hotel. And what we decided to do this month is we thought we'd take a little look at the west of Lombok here, up here, Mataram, which is the capital city in Lombok, the main city. And then we also went a little bit further up coast here on the west coast to a place called Senggigi. It's actually not on this map, I do apologize, but it's about there where my cursor is. It's about 15-20 minutes north of Mataram, and so we'll get into that. So this is where we were. We were in the west of Lombok for most of this month. Here, by the way, if you're wondering what this is, Big Crater, it's the second largest volcano in Indonesia. It's known as Gunung Rinjani volcano. And I have to say, it does look rather like a volcano on my leg. I do apologize if you're eating now. It won't be there for long. Yes, I went to sleep on the floor and a red ant bit me. And of course, I made the mistake of popping the red spot too early. It got infected. And quite frankly, it's rather disgusting. It's formed almost like a volcano. You see the arrow there. I've got my own Gunung Rinjani on my leg, and it's actually caused an abscess, like a big hole in the leg. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I've been on antibiotics and it's got much better. I won't bother getting my leg out and showing you it again, the next one. But just to be aware, this is what happens in the tropics if you don't watch those ants. Now, you may be aware it's called infections, one of the titles today, the word infection, and we have been going through a bout of infections. The boys, myself, we've had ear infections. We've had, can we call it deli belly? I suppose you can't. It's Lombok belly. Constant squirtiness going out there. Imagine 4 kids. It just goes around and around, and you think you're done, and then another one gets it. Eye infections we've also had as well. And of course, you just got to hold your hands up, there you go, and say these are the plagues of making a big change, moving to a different place. The body's just not used to all of the different types of bacteria, microorganisms that are around here that you can't see but do get into your orifices. So it's very normal. You just got to get through it. And hopefully after 6 months, definitely a year, the body would have created the shields, the immunity for all of these things. Like the locals here, they don't tend to get these things because they're used to it. Their bodies are immune to it. They've got their defenses to it. So it's been a tough month in terms of that. But if you look, big picture stuff, this does happens to all of us. So we have been going through quite a few infections. Luckily, I'm the only one with a volcano on my leg. Right, we did go fishing in the end. I remember telling you about this last time. We ended up not going. And finally, we did go fishing in a place called Garupuk to the east of Kuta. There's Captain Jafar, not from Aladdin, may I say. And would you believe after 5 minutes... Dad caught an octopus. Not that I'm a huge fan of octopus. Meanwhile, my wife, being Japanese, did like to gobble most of that up. We cooked it in a local restaurant there. You can see Zach doesn't look too keen on it either. So, yeah, that was fun. Miwako caught some. Zach caught one. It was poisonous. We had to put it back. It was a good first induction for us into the world of fishing, so good fun there. And obviously catching something's always nice too, even though I'm not a huge octopus fan. Right, let's get into the most important stuff. We have a beer debacle. As it's predominantly Muslim here in Lombok, and generally everything is great, there is one thing that clearly isn't, and that's the tax that they put on to beer. Yes, you can access it, you can buy it. Bintang is a well-known Pils and lager. It's very nice. Cold, 10 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, 5 o'clock, beer o'clock, right? 5 or 7 o'clock, 5 to 6 o'clock, beer o'clock. But they do cost a hefty lot. For a big 620ml, you're looking at about 50,000 rupees, which is about 23 RMB, maybe £3 for a beer. So this can really hit into your budget if you're going out and you're having a few of them, which Miwa and myself would do, have 1 or 2, as they say. But luckily, my German friend Dan put me onto a distributor for this Anchor beer. Another famous beer brand here. You don't see much of it in the restaurants, but I've got hold of the distributor up in Praia, a city about 20 minutes north of here, and they deliver Tuesdays and Saturdays to around the town. And you can get one of these 500ml, just under a pint, for about 20,000. So you're looking at about 10 RMB, which is about £1.20. So that's a little bit better. Please don't think I'm drinking beer all the time, of course. I have 4 children. I have to look after myself. But sometimes in an evening, especially on the weekends, as I say to Miwa, it's nice to have some cold ones in the fridge and not feel like you're paying through the roof for them. So there is always, where there's a will, there's a way. Hey, we've got the Anchor beer. There you go. But special promo out there for Bintan and Anchor. They are both very nice. It's just the Anchor, straight from the distributor, is a little bit nicer on the wallet. Okay, let's look. Ron the Snake Man. This is a guy originally from Leicester, I believe. Nice chap. Been living in Bali a long time. I don't know what you call an expert in snakes. Should we call him a snakeologist? Let me know. Tell me what it is. I suppose I could Google it. That's probably what you're saying, but I can't because I'm needing to talk to you and get this done in 15 minutes. So the snake patrolman, Ron, he came. It was an event through the school here, open to the local community. So we went along. This is a place in, it's the Novotel, a lovely hotel here. Really, they've done a great job in making it look very local style. They've got a lot of clay pots there sticking out of the wall for nice artistic effect. But Ron came and did a talk about the snake life, the insect life, the critter life, the dangerous life that lurks potentially around us living in Lombok. So it was a good education for us. Interesting point, actually, that there's a lot more snakes seemingly in Bali, dangerous ones as well, and a lot more diverse species sets than there are in Lombok, which is great. I wonder if it's got anything to do with the line that goes between Bali and Lombok, where things, flora and fauna and animal species just change dramatically. It's called the, I can't believe this, the Walter line or something. Dearie me, I forgot in my old age and non-infinite wisdom. But Ron did a good talk. There were some snakes that were brought down, not his, but for some people in a local village, I believe, which was good. And we got to hear about some good safety tips, living around in houses and stuff, what not to do, what to do. I'll give you the biggest conclusion. If you see a snake, viewers, listeners, just stay away from the snake. Easier said than done. Most people try and get near and poke around and they cause problems. That does cause problems. Max had a great time. He was holding loads of snakes. This is a bearded lizard. Beautiful little thing. He was absolutely loving it. And I had to do it. I held the big yellow python. My gosh, what a massive thing that is. So heavy, just full of absolute muscle. But that was great. It was a great day. And we got to meet some other families too, which is all about a bit of networking. We moved then up to Senggigi. Remember I was telling you, up above the main city, Mataram, on the west coast of Lombok. It's about a 2-hour drive. So we took a taxi up. This was the first place we stayed in for the first night, but it just wasn't big enough for all of our clan, our troop. And some of the other rooms weren't available, so we looked elsewhere. Very nice family, though, running that show. I can't remember the name. Family Guest House, I think it was. Very nice family, but we found another place much closer to the sea in Senggigi. Sengigi's actually, the beaches are kind of black-grey because of it's a volcanic beach. Of course, we're getting closer and closer to Rinjani, the volcano in Lombok, as you go further north to the west. And here was myself in the let me turn my voice off. In the morning, see, I was sleeping on the floor because there wasn't enough room for all of us, and that's where I got my ant bite. But never mind, I live to fight another day. And this is us coming out of the guest house, well, me, and it was beautiful. Batu Belong, this place is in Senggigi. Really absolutely dead, no one there. I think we were the only ones staying there. An Australian couple too. Apologies for all the noise, by the way, if you're watching this. There's the pool, and then right outside, look at that, smack bang on your doorstep, a beautiful beach. And it was such a cool water because the waves would come in and they would suck you back in. It was really fun. No rocks and stuff in the water. And there was where we had the fires right here every night under this tree. And there were some really nice restaurants, local restaurants. We met some really cool expats and locals there, and they did this amazing barbecued what's the fish, mahi, just beautiful. It's like so meaty, just beautiful, juicy, with their kind of sambery chili sauce, garlic. Absolutely lovely, to die for. So that was our new guest house that we stayed at, and again we just had wonderful sunsets. And there's a sun going down there. You can kind of see Rinjani in the background here, yeah? Some days it was clearer than others, but there is the big Rinjani volcano to be climbed one day. Maybe you'll do it with me, or you'll do it for me. And there's the fires that we were doing every day. And the boys would go and get the wood, and we'd snap it up, and they'd help to light it, because my little tripod strategy there to make the fire start quickly. There you go, free bit of info there for you. Start a fire, put it up like that. I'm sure you know anyway. Big swings on the beaches. There's all 5 of us, shall we? And the Jasper, Zach and Kai and Max Yeah, wonderful times, everyone. Wonderful times. It's just really nice to have a new environment. Super exciting. Okay, let's get into the bureaucracy of the world. I'll try not to bore you. We finally got our Kartu Izin Tinggal Terbatas. Kartu Izin Tinggal Terbatas. Sorry if I fudged that one to any Bahasa Indonesia speakers out there. We finally got our KITAS, which stands for exactly what I've just said, a limited stay permit card. It allows us to live here. 2 years for us. Every year you have to renew. For the kids, we have to renew every 2 years. So we finally have our KITAS through our investment company here, which we'll talk a lot more about in the future. But this is it. I was looking for like, a picture of the Prime Minister, Jokowi, maybe some beautiful picture of a sunset, and put it in your passport and it's something to cherish. But no, all we got was a blue circular stamp with an A on it and ETAS online, which means it's all online now. So you don't even get a beautiful sticker. I guess at least they didn't take up a page. I remember in China, I had to change my passport so much because every year you get a visa stuck on and it would take up a whole page of your passport. So we finally got that. It took a lot longer because remember they said I was Irish and the computer system had trouble changing it. But we finally got it on time. Well, not on time, but we finally got it after what was that, 6 weeks? And that allowed us to then go and get SIM cards and buy phones and actually feel like we could get connected into the information mainstream. Right. So my agent told me the day before we had to go to Mataram, to the immigration office, to pick up our KITAS, our passports, to get that lovely blue stamp from immigration. That, of course, because this is mostly Muslim here, as I mentioned earlier, it's rude to show lots of skin, to go in with shorts, flip-flops and things like this. So I was told this, and I didn't, of course, pack anything. I could have packed my trousers. So I then wondered, it made me think, last time I was in that immigration, I don't think I mentioned this, I saw a lot of foreign men, or boule as they're called here, coming in with sarongs, like this man around their waist. So I was it's kind of a bit kitsch, maybe it's a fashion. People going on holiday, they kind of think, let's mix it up a little bit. But what I realized was it's exactly this. If you don't have trousers, put something on like this. You can't wear shorts because you're showing your legs. So I was in a right problem because I had nothing on of that kind. So I thought maybe using the bed sheet in the hotel, and then luckily rummaging through my baggage, I'd managed to keep my Alibabas. I got these in, I don't know, India, Thailand, like over 10 years ago. And there you see, they covered up my legs beautifully. There's my bum bag, perfect for any father of children. When you're keeping things with no pockets there, you got no pockets, bum bag. I'm bringing it back into fashion. But well, it's not a bum bag, is it? It's kind of a waist bag for me. I don't carry it on the back. Otherwise, it could be easily pickpocketed. I did have to go in with flip-flops, but I used all the 4 boys in front of me to cause a smoke screen so they didn't look down at my feet. And so we finally got in and we were able to get those KITASes finally. And this is the boys. Everyone had to have photos taken. Miwa there, very friendly immigration officers. Kai there doing his modeling. And here's Max signing his document. You can see the kind of an M there, M kind of blurred into A. I had to help him out a few times, but he was insistent that he would write his own name, however long it would take. So there you go. Now, as we came out of the immigration, guess what we went into? Just at the time that we came out, you just couldn't have timed it more perfectly. This was a mass demonstration going on. Remember, Mataram is the capital of Lombok. So if you've got a beef with the government, you're going to go there. And this immigration place is where the government offices are. And so you can see people up here on a truck with big PA speakers, and they were protesting. There were lots of police officers with weapons. So we had 2 scooters, and this was where we needed to go. So it was a little bit annoying, frustrating and annoying. I mean, I'm all up for free speech and, people go into the government with their qualms, absolutely. But how did we get out of this? I think we went up the wrong way, which was quieter. And actually, the people they led us through the bollards. They didn't want, obviously, foreigners nosing around too much into things, I guess. And so, oh, look, I've got a video. Let's put the video on here. So these were protests, listeners, viewers, for petrol. Now, if you remember in the last episode, I was talking to you about petrol prices. I was giving you an idea of certain prices of things. Petrol was about, I believe, it was about 7,000 rupees for a litre, which is about, 40 pence in England, maybe 3.5 RMB in China, a bit less than that, 3 RMB. But they've gone up. Literally in the time I have filmed the last one and I'm doing this, they've gone up, and they've gone up the day we were in immigration, from 7 all the way up to 10,000 per litre. So, you're talking there nearly, if it was 7 and it's gone up 3, you're talking nearly 50%, say 40% price rise in petrol. That's going to hurt a lot of people. And so damn right they should get out on the streets and protest. Absolutely all for it. Whether or not it'll do any good, of course, I don't know. But hey, we should be entitled to speaking up, something that many weren't entitled to from where we've just left, of course. So let's listen to this demonstration a minute.
Petrol protest. Apparently, in the last few days, petrol has gone up from 7,000. I think I showed you in the last vlog.
Oh, well, and I'm just repeating myself here. I will stop. So quite a crowd of people coming along.
Ada entitas manapun yang berani menghalangi masa aksi kita, kawan-kawan semua. Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So there you go. Yeah, was getting a bit aggressive, as Jasper noted. But yeah, we could have a whole talk on this subject. But yes, people, as they should be freely able to say what they're thinking. And I don't blame them. If petrol goes up over 30, 40%, that's going to hurt a lot of people for sure. So that was that. We then did we had to send Max's passport back to China because our passport for him took so long for HMOP in Liverpool to make his new passport. We had to just leave. And so we're getting some of our friends to pick it up at some point soon. It came through about a couple of weeks after we left. So we had to do that. This is TNT office. We got that sent there. And what else? Well, while that was going on, Kai was helping a man fix a motorbike outside. Cheeky Kai. Very interested in all of his tools. There you go. There's the petrol. So Pertamina, the main brand here. If you see here, Fertilization, the cheapest one, was a bit difficult. 10,000 now, as opposed to 7,000 last vlog that I did. And of course, this is happening all over the world. Mass inflation. Government's just printing more and more money, thinking it's going to help us all. Of course, it's not. It's going to all implode. Don't mean to be negative, but make sure you're ready for it. Okay, shopping. Not my kind of thing, but as we were in the main city, we thought we should go and check out what's available. So, oh, yes, this was something I saw the other day. Might be a reason for why petrol's gone up. This is an oil petrol tanker, I think. It's quite an interesting brand name, isn't it? BSW. I'm not going to read it, but if it is in there, then maybe something's happened and that's why it's become more, I don't know, expensive. Okay, this is the mall, everyone. This is Mataram Mall. They have one big mall. It's the Epicentrum Mall. They actually have two, actually. But this is a mall that I guess in 2022 we'd say is mallish. Not my kind of place, as I said, but of course the kids, Miwa, love it. And you know what? If you don't have it all the time, I mean, I had to say in China, it was almost like constantly in a mall. But when you don't have something all the time, I think you appreciated it more. So we hadn't been to a mall for ages. We came here, it's 3 or 4 floors, and we really enjoyed it. I actually pissed down with rain afterwards. We couldn't get to the bank on time. We had to get these plastic hoods, and it was really cold rain, so we had to wait here for longer than we thought. But as we were in the mall, check this out. Absolute classic. I was filming for the vlog to go up. I was going up the escalators, and just look what happens here. And that's Max. Oh, yeah, that was a Max. We were buying phones. We got some Samsung phones. That's another debacle here. To bring in a phone from outside, you have to pay tax on it, and it just makes a lot more sense to get new phones. Unfortunately, Apple is majorly expensive here. So we've gone to Android, which is really moving any computer over, as you know, can be taxing. I still actually keep my Samsung in the box and turn it on when I need to get a message or something. I'm still using my iPhone 6, old school. I'm happy with 3G, but nobody else is. So at some point, step by step, I will move over, but Miwako is loving her Samsung A23. I got a cheaper one, A13. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let's check this video out. Watch this. By the way, just here to set the scene, Miwako and the boys are here looking at the teddy bear, and I'm going up the escalator.
Epicentrum Mall, Mataram. It's like being back in China. And there they are. There's Max punching the... Oh, Max, you can't... Don't punch the teddy bear. Zach, caught on camera. British louts.
Now, I'm going to pause this video, and you might be wondering why, but I have been told by my lovely wife, Miwako, to not show this next bit. All I'm going to say is, it's not right that the children were showing violent behaviour towards a teddy bear. Even if there was someone in a teddy bear, that's not right. Very loutish, so they're in big trouble for this, especially Zach, of course, the ringleader. Should be modelling something better than that. I'm going to take this off then now and not show you what happened next, but just show you, yes, what happened afterwards. Here we go, Zach wandering off.
Oh, I caught this on camera. Sin bin.
So Zach was certainly given the one over by his mother, which I totally agree. And they were all sin binned after that. Kids, if you're watching this, do not hit teddy bears. Right, off the shopping and onto this. Check this out, everyone. This is an Indonesian bus stop. Well, shall I say Lombok bus stop. Look at this. You go up a ramp to sit down, to then come down the ramp to go into the bus. Now, I was thinking the buses, and I don't see many of them, I have to say, would be maybe have a high door. So that's why you have to go up the ramp and then you step off here into the bus, but they don't. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are some. It doesn't look new, this bus stop. But I just think that's really quite unique. Bus stop with ramps. There you go. Makes things fun, right? Especially if you've got your bicycle. So there you go. A Lombok bus stop. I'm sure you haven't seen that before. If you had, don't bother letting me know. Right. Hospital visits. Of course, with kids, and I was in the medical industry in Zhuhai for some years. It's very important, as not being from here with obviously the language problems, to find a place if you have an emergency or something that you can go to that you're happy with, where you know there's a good international type service. So I checked out Siloam Hospital in Mataram. Remember, we're in the main city. That's where the main hospital is. About an hour, 50 kilometers from Kuta, where we're based. And I checked it out. And the reason I checked it out was actually I was having massive problem in my ear. It was an infection first, probably from this pool. Sorry, Booty. And then the infection went, and I don't know what happened, but it was really difficult for me to chew and even open my mouth, when you're yawning and stuff like that. It was actually really, really annoying and quite painful. I was on strong painkillers for quite some time. So I thought, I better check this out in case it's serious and I can kill two birds with one stone and check out this hospital for everyone, see what it's like. So I went to this private hospital, Siloam. Look at this. It's got cool little buggies for kids. You can push them around. I saw some people pushing their kids around because, it's pretty boring, a hospital, right? So I thought that was quite fun, playing fun. None for adults, although maybe you could take this one. Nice, clean corridors. It wasn't hugely busy. You had to wait downstairs for your number, la-di-da-di-da. And I got to, this is the problem. I had barotrauma caused by a difference in pressure between the inside of the ear and the air around you. The eustachian tube, which is here in red, does not open. Swelling or fluid buildup in the air around the tube can make it not open. So I can only imagine when I came in on the flight, I remember from Kuala Lumpur with everyone to Lombok, I had massive pain in this ear, and the pressure change, the gradient must have shut my eustachian tube. And I tell you, I would not wish this one on anybody. You had to take anti-congestants and painkillers. It takes a long time. Literally from the last time I did this vlog to last week, I had it. And finally, it is gone. I can move my mouth around with no problems. I bet some of you are laughing out loud, thinking, Chris, what a shame or trauma that he wouldn't be able to speak. Well, I was able to speak. I just wasn't able to yawn or chew sandwiches very well, or pizza. Anyway, barotrauma, quite a common thing for people who travel in the air, but a lot of them come from scuba diving too, when you go down and the pressure changes as you go deeper into the water. Well, this was the doctor that came from one of the hospitals, and he was really useful. He shoved this endoscope or something in my ear, and there you can see my eardrum. Gosh, this is a real medical show today, isn't it? I do apologize for Rinjani earlier on. There's my ear, a little bit red, of course, on the right one. And there's the doctor who was happy to charge me a load of money. No, sorry, he was very nice indeed. And of course, on the back of that, I had been researching it. Anyone out there who's relocating, who is an expat now in a country not where they're from, you have to have, well, you don't have to have it, but you're stupid if you don't, some health insurance. The best one we found was actually UK company originally, Prudential. Always listening, always understanding. I'll let you know if that's the case next year if we go to renew. But they were very kind. They came out and met me in Sengigi, went through the plans, and this was about nearly $2,000 for the year to cover all of us for major injuries, airlifts to hospitals, things like this, coming off motorbikes and stuff like that. So really essential, and we're now all covered in case anything major happens. Touch wood, of course, it doesn't. Right, well, we also had some challenges along the way. I remember we took Kai, Miwa, myself, Kai, and Max in to buy phones, and the back wheel blew out. Quite dangerous, actually. I had to leave Miwa and the two kids on a roadside. But luckily in Indonesia, because motorbikes are just ubiquitous, there's always guys like this lovely chap able to help fix my bike. Now, I went there, the tyre was totally flat, it totally gone. It was actually dangerous, really, to drive to this place on it. He took the tube out, found out where the puncture was, put a pin in it, got a bit of rubber out, stuck rubber down and patched it up, basically. And I mean, within about 10 minutes, it was all done. Here's a video. What a guy. And actually, full circle, this is the immigration place and the road where the protests were, a week before, I think that was happening. So I was able to get the Wi-Fi still from here and send Miwa a message to let her know that I was coming to get her soon, her knight in shining armor. Got his motor there, turns on, right by the side of the road. Brilliant. There he's finding out where looking for the air bubbles to find where the puncture is.
Very good. Terima kasih. There you go.
Brilliant. I mean, that's exactly what you need when your tyre goes out. I don't even know how much it would cost in England if that happened. But this guy saved our day, and we managed to get to the bank appointment opening company and personal accounts, which of course we could do when we finally got that KITAS to access money and things like that. But this guy charged me, wait for it, 10,000 rupees for this life-saving service, which is under 5 RMB. You're talking 70p, listeners. Incredible. And a smile as well. Imagine Quick Fit coming out to do that in England and you giving them less than £1. They'd tell you to do one, wouldn't they? Okay. We got back. No, we didn't. We carried on from Sengigi, which is where we are here on the cursor, just north of Mataram. And we carried on up to the one and only, well, the free and only, famous tropical islands of the Gillies. There they are in the northwest of Lombok. I Tropicana, Islands of Paradise. Here they are. We've got Gili Air here on the right, Gili Mino. Welcome to Gili Mino. Magic mushrooms for breakfast sometimes. That was actually a song played to us by the boys where we stayed. Reggae song. The boys were singing that a lot as well in the swimming pool. Not really knowing the true meanings, I think, behind that. And this is Gili Trawangan, the big party island here on the left. I think I've got that right. Yes, I think I do. Gili Air, Gili Mino, and Gili Trawangan, and here they are up on that map there. Tiddly little islands. You can walk around it in like 3 hours. Took us a whole day, as you could imagine, with the kids. But it's true tropical paradise, listeners and viewers, and I would recommend anyone to come here when you come to see us, of course, to go to the Gillies. Chill here in Gili Air, chill even more in Gili Mino for honeymooners. This is the place to come. But here is for the party goers, the chicken and chips, the football shirt wearers, the Red Bull and vodka drinkers. Now, Gili Air, where we were staying, the island on the right, the closest island to the mainland, has no cars or motorbikes. It just has horses, and they frequently go around scaring you if you don't move to the left or right of the path. You wouldn't want to be hit by one of them, that's for sure. They do actually have e-bikes. I saw some e-bikes, but nothing with combustible fuel in. Here is, we couldn't fit all of our stuff in, no surprise there, so I walked with Zach and Jasper, and these guys took the luggage to the guest house. Now, where were we staying? We were staying in Alibaba's, like my pants I wore to the immigration. A nice, cute, cozy little guest house, 20 meters from the beach. And I'm talking like literally a beach where you can just go straight into the water and snorkel. Coral reef everywhere. Just proper beautiful. And the boys there, Guran and Aloha, was super nice, super friendly with the boys through the week. We played lots of ball in the pool, and it was great fun. The breakfasts were also included as well. They had great chocolate pancakes. We were having cheese omelets, and they had a plate of fruit in the morning. Super, super nice. Alibaba, Gili Air, big shout out to them. Thanks for having us. We definitely go back there, and anyone going there, check Alibaba out on booking.com or wherever you check out your places. We took some boats. This was a glass bottom boat. This was a boat trip we did. We went snorkeling to see turtles, and did we indeed see the turtles? This was Gili Trawangan. A lot of them hang around there. It's an absolute must to see the turtles. It's just incredible, yeah, just floating under the water, coming up right to you. I mean, I will say you shouldn't touch them. Really, just observing them, I think is respectful enough. And Kai, of course, the youngest, couldn't go underwater. He doesn't know how to go underwater yet with the goggles. But as I was holding him, this one turtle came right up to us, incredible, and stuck his head out of the water and opened his mouth, almost as if he was saying, hey, welcome to Gili Tea. Do you have any food for me? So that was really super. And here's some the famous statues underwater as well, which we got to see as well. I snorkeled down to. Yeah, there's actually not a big story to these. A group of foreigners, apparently a foreign entity, put these down about 5 or 6 years ago. So nothing ancient from aliens or anything like that. So yeah, don't get too interested. But again, wonderfully beautiful and cool. In the evening, as the sun was setting, I told you it's an island of horses. We got on some horses. The boys loved it, especially Max. And the sun went down. And again, another beautiful day in Gili Air. There's me holding Kai up there. Yeah, again, man, these are the moments. If you're thinking about making moves, this is what you can get. And it's hard with the kids, 4 kids, not much downtime, even on a relaxing island. There's always something going on here with kids, whether they're ill or needing this or needing that, or they've fallen over, or, oh, why has he got that and I don't have that? But these are the special moments. I know, and the boys are looking back on this. One of the reasons I'm doing this is they will remember this, and we'll all remember this. And I just know, I have no regrets, because I won't be saying, oh, I worked, my arse off so I could put my kids in university and give them a good life. But hey, while I was working my arse off, was I actually spending any time with them? So I know this is what it's for. It's magical. It's special. And that photo really encapsulates that for me, yeah. Right, here's a quick picture of Jazzy B on the horse. Now, I wanted the man to let go, but he said probably best not to. He might bolt off, and Jasper might bolt off the back.
Jasper rides off into the sunset.
That was great. So that was the Gili Air and the Gili Islands, as they're known. And so let's move on now to something a little bit unsavory. I'll put this in as a little clip a warning sign to all of you. So please listen very, very carefully, especially those who are thinking of relocating. Again, a title for this episode, one of them was Shipping Sarongs. Well, I kind of got the idea for Sarongs, wrongs, shipping wrongs, and there were certainly a shipping wrong. I'm put my hands up, partly to do with this. I chose this company. We were wanting to send 5 cubic meters of our stuff, not too much, 5 cubic meters, things like books and some musical instruments and games, sports stuff, stuff that we use a lot of in our life in China, and we didn't want to buy it again, but stuff more sentimental stuff, pictures, things like this that we want to keep. And so, of course, you look for shipping companies, relocating companies that do what they say they're going to do. And we met a company, well, I spoke to quite a few. It's very expensive for this to move it to Indonesia. But these guys, Trust Mover. I mean, again, going back to Liz Truss. I mean, don't you just trust she's going to do a great job for England? Well, I trusted that Trust Mover was going to do a great job for us, moving our boxes. Here they are in the middle. This is our home in China before we left. And this is their QR code. If you've got WeChat and you're in China now, I can tell you one thing. I do not want to bore you with the detail, okay? This is meant to be a positive vlog podcast. But listen to this. Do not use this company. If you're in China now, they're Shanghai based, and you get a call from them or a WeChat message, or you see an advertisement saying they can do this and they can do that, they may be the cheapest quote, but I'm telling you, they do not do what they say they're going to do. And I've had loads of problems. Our shipping now is in Jakarta. It actually came a lot quicker than they said it was going to, which for us, we actually wanted it to take longer because we still don't have a home. Yeah, we're still in a guest house. But absolutely no communication. The minute you sign the deal, you send the money over, they come and pack it up. To be fair, the guys who came, they did a good job packing it all up. But then after that, no communication, total problems. I had to pay more shipping fees when it got to Jakarta. I've had to pay a penalty fee because the manifest that they're responsible for wasn't correct. They said it was this much, but it actually was this much when it got to Jakarta. And just no communication. They don't reply to emails, to the WeChat group. It's the worst, yeah? It's the lowest form of service I think you could possibly give. So do not trust these people. Do not go with them. Go with someone a little bit more expensive. And I always find someone who's already used the company that have done what they say they can do is best. So I will tell you now, do not go with trust movers. Just remember this: trust no one, especially trust movers. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, so we will see when we finally get these to Lombok. I've got to pay for it to get to Lombok as well, which I wasn't told about and wasn't agreed. And so, yeah, not happy with this company. But there you go. As I said, I chose them. So it's my fault in the end. But generally, I had conversations with them. I asked them all these questions. We were only going to have to pay extra costs for duty and when it went through customs. Luckily, it's gone through customs now, and we haven't had to pay any extra tax, just that penalty fee, because this company messed up on doing their job. So trust movers, do not trust them. Okay, I think I've said enough on that one. Right, well, after we were in Sengigi and we were in the Gili Islands, tropical Gili Islands, we came back to Kuta, and I'm going to tell you a secret. We have finally, I believe, found where we are going to be living for the next year. It's taken time. We are in the process of, actually, I can tell you now, we've signed the contract for a year. We'll be in on Miwa's birthday in November. So we've still got some time to stay here and do some more exploring. Reason being, they've rented it out to the upcoming Superbike championships, which they're having in the Mandalika circuit here in Kuta. The whole place just fills up. You can't even get a sofa here at the moment. And so they're cashing in on the Mandalika mass, increase in customers, people needing rooms. I don't blame them. We're probably going to get right out of here and take a trip somewhere else to chill, and then come back when it's finished. More about that in future vlogs. But yes, we think we found the place, and yeah, we're very happy with it. It's been quite a challenge finding a big enough place for us here. These guys, big thank you. I know you're going to be watching this. We've got Iram here and Arief. They've become good friends to us over the last 6 weeks. They've helped us to look at different places. We've been to so many different places looking with them. They really have been a great help. This is Arief, by the way, on his lovely KLX 150 motorbike, which I want. That's for future episodes. Give me your motorbike. But yes, thank you. Big thank you to Iram and Arief for all your help. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have found this place, which I'll tell you a lot more about in the future. So big up to them. What's also been happening? Yes, Natta, our good new friend, Natty Badman is his nickname now. He's not a bad man, but it just sounds like Natty Badman, the reggae singer from Bristol, which isn't so bad to be associated with. Natta, being native to Lombok, is Sasak, Muslim Sasak, and he lives in a traditional Sasak village. And so he invited us to it one afternoon, and we went. This is his lovely children here on the doorstep, and this is the lovely food his wife cooked for us. Mostly vegetarian. Got samba hot sauce. That is pretty hot, I have to say. Tofu, some kind of green with what do you call it? Squash inside. It's actually like very basil-like, but it's not basil. I think this was chicken hearts and kidneys, and some rice, all grown on his land by his family and saved, in the dry storage. So really wonderful organic rice. Yeah, it was a great feast. And here we are, Zach and Jasper playing with some stuff, and Max there in the background, me trying to look professional with my folded legs. The more you get into it, the more easier it becomes, I found. And there's your traditional coffee that they serve here. Kai loved the farm they have outside. They have some cows. He was feeding them, and Max looked very at home there, with bare feet in the hay. It's just wonderful to see my kids just like connecting back into earth. Yeah, I remember when we were in China, it was always rubber shoes, 24 floors up, keyboards, devices. Very rarely would they get their feet on the ground. And I tried very much to get them to take it off, but they were always like, oh, it doesn't feel nice, it's strange on my feet. And now they don't think twice about it. Oh, the cow's given us a good angle there. Thank you. And then Jack was outside with some of the village boys with a knife, cutting some bamboo. And actually, they made some big bamboo stilts. I should have taken a photo, made 2 holes in the side and put some little bits of wood in so you could stand up, put your feet on it, like stilts, right? And try walking with them. Well, I tried and absolutely failed. Of course, the kids were right up on them, no problem. When I go back there, I'm going to try again, Natta Bad Man, Natty Dreadlock Man, and I'll see if I can do it. So there you go. That is not Natta, by the way, there, in case you think it is. Although he would look very smart just like that if he was wearing that attire. No pictures of Natta. Not that he didn't want any, but Miwa didn't take any. Okay, we are near the finish line. If you're still with me, we're nearly there. Okay. And again, thank you so much for listening to all the stories. I hope this has been entertaining for you. It's just such an adventure. We're so lucky to be doing this. And I just want to showcase it to you all. So I really hope you've enjoyed it so far. As always, every month I do want to give you a Jedi Invest tip of the month. So remember, disclaimer side, I must disclaim this is not a financial advice I'm about to give you. I'm not a financial advisor. These are projects I just want to bring to your attention. Yes, I have a vested interest in them. I've invested my time and energy into them, into researching them, and have also put some funds into them too. So I want them to succeed. I don't make any commission. Just recognition that I've passed something on to your awareness that I think is, as I say, positively uplifting for our planet. It's doing a good thing. And with the challenges we've got coming ahead, I think these help. So what is it today? What is it this month that we're looking at? We are looking at this, Brazil potash. Okay, and here is a column of potash. Now, Brazil Potash is a fertilizer company engaged in the extraction of potash, this stuff you see here in the Amazon region. And Brazil is the second largest consumer of potash in the world. Now, don't get all, oh my gosh, this is taking all the trees down, like these companies are doing in the rainforest. Maybe they say, it's like a football field a day. It's really bad. So cattle can ranch on it, for the burgeoning meat eaters that we have around our world. It's nothing like that. Just hear me out. First, let's understand exactly what potash is. Potash, where does it come? Well, to keep up with the food demands for 7.5 billion people, modern farmers require fertilizers, of course, for food, good crop yields year in, year out. It's estimated about half of the world's food supply is grown with fertilizers. Did you know that? So fertilizers are very, very important, even more so in the supply chain issues that we are starting to see happening and are going to start to see more of in the coming years. Fertilizers are made up from 3 basic elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So potash is the term used for a family of potassium-based compounds. So potassium is actually named after potash, potassium, right? It was originally made by burning wood to ash. You can get it from the fires, which I'll come back to in a minute. So today, potash is mined from ancient dried up seabeds. Most of these deposits you can see here actually in this video are deep underground. Instead of sending miners down like they used to shovel it out, they use water now. Now, I have to just bring up this video. If you go to YouTube, I subscribe to this guy, Veritasium. Zach thinks he looks like Elon Musk, but he does a great video on potash. Really interesting. If you've got kids, well worth watching. These pools help support half the people on Earth. I'm not going to tell you anything else. They look bizarre, don't they? Where are they in the world? What do they actually do? And potash is it is the whole deal for this. So please watch this. It's really interesting with your kids as well. They really enjoyed it too. My kids. Miners drill down into the deposits, okay, and they blast it with water. They then pump out the solution, evaporate the water off, which leaves this potash. You can see here this dried potash in columns this person's holding. This is a much safer process, this water process, since miners don't have to risk life and limb going underground. It has extra added benefits of being ecologically friendly as well. The byproduct of potash production is table salt, the white stuff you put on your food, and the table salt can be placed back into the earth to backfill the mined areas of the mine. Now, this is what this tagline from the company says: from earth to earth. Potash extracted from underground is transformed into fertilizer and returned to the earth to enrich the soil. There you go. We got this sustainability thing going, yeah? So what else can I say about it? Well, potash, as you now know, is a key ingredient in fertilizer. It's necessary for the Brazilian farmers to continue to produce food to feed the world's masses. Currently, Brazil imports nearly all of its potash, if you didn't know that. And there's basically an oligopoly of a few massive Canadian and Russian firms who control the industry. Canada actually produced the most potash, and then the Russians, apparently. Ooh, interesting. So they have an oligopoly. This cartel structure allows the oligopolies to significantly control prices, of course, which can negatively impact the profit margins of farmers, especially Brazilian farmers. On top of that, the potash, of course, has to travel as much as 12,000 miles from Canada and Russian ports to reach Brazil. So this is where this company comes in. Its main advantage clearly is its geographic location. It's a giant underground potash deposit in the heart of Brazil, the breadbasket of the world. This property has an estimated 34-year mine life. It means it can supply the booming nation of Brazil with rich fertilizer for decades to come. To understand the size and scope of the deal, at full capacity, it could fulfill up to 20% of Brazil's potash needs. And here the circle X marks the spot where Brazil Potash, the company, will load its potash into giant barges. So we've got this canal here, it's not a canal, this massive river. So once loaded onto the barges, the potash can be easily transported downstream and it can be shipped throughout the country. Super cool. Now, to bring something else to the table here, which I thought made it really an interesting company to get involved with, China's domestic demand for pork has made it the global leader in hog production. They just eat pork all the time in China. There's pigs everywhere. And a staple for farm-raised hogs, of course, is crushed soya bean. What do you need to make that soya bean nice and big and viable? To send to countries like China to feed their pigs, you, of course, need fertilizer, hence the connection. So as tens of millions of people continue to enter China's middle class, demand for pork is only going to grow. China will look to Brazil to help meet the demand. Now, it's so important that China's CITIC Group Bank met up with Brazilian officials and the Brazil Potash team to fund and build out this potash mine. It bears repeating, seeing the Brazil Potash mine come online in its best interests, certainly for CITIC Group and for the government in China, as it enables Brazil to keep cranking out crops like soybean. So it also, just to finish, if you're thinking about the effects of this mining in the Amazon, it does embrace ESG, the economic, the social, and the governance aspects and effects of this. It's addressing the concerns of indigenous and local communities living near the mine as well, as ESG investors, by aligning its projects with their interests. This is still in an IPO state before initial public offering. Now is the time to get involved. If you are interested, check out www.brazilpotash.com. If you don't do anything else, please check out that YouTube video from Veritasium. He does great science videos, really interesting both for adults and for kids. So well done for him too. Okay. Oh, to finish, the boys got so inspired by that video, you may be too, that they tried to make their own potash. And this is what they were doing. We lit a fire, as I told you, we've lit many. They scraped the ash off into water, and then they separated that from the water. And this is all explained in the video, and then you evaporate it. Unfortunately, the boys in our hotel guest house didn't read the sign, even though the boys had put it into hati-hati Parangitan, into Indonesian as well, and they chucked it away. So I think they're going to go for another trial soon. Like true scientists, keep going, don't give up, make that potash. Questions and answers before we finish. We did have a few I'd like to address. The first one from Dawn McHugh, Umsicles. How often, she says, are there earthquakes? And isn't it slightly scary because of the last big tsunami? Well, Dawn, I think probably the last big one you're referring to is the one in 2004, yeah? The big earthquake. The epicenter was to the west of Banda Aceh, up towards near Jakarta. Of course, that caused massive tsunamis throughout the region. How often are earthquakes? Let's address that. Apparently, the coordinator of earthquake and tsunami mitigation of the Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysics Agency, the BMKG, Diano, says Indonesia experiences about 5.818 earthquakes per year. It's the most in any part of the world. So there you go, 5.818 earthquakes per year. We experienced it, of course, on Zach's birthday. I showed you in the last vlog. I told you about it, which was a few seconds. Hopefully, when we experience other shudders, they won't be as bad as they were back in 2004. I think that was 9.2 on the Richter scale. Absolutely massive. By the way, here's a little fact for you. If you're at your pub with your mates and you want to seem like you're clever, Qatar in the Middle East is considered a country least likely to experience cyclones, droughts, big floods and earthquakes. So the question would be, which country in the world has the least cyclones, droughts, big floods and earthquakes? And the answer apparently is Qatar. So there you go. No earthquakes upcoming in the World Cup, I guess. Thanks for that question. Keep them coming in. Lastly, Zenon Pagliero, good old Zenon, who I believe is maybe in Germany now. Hope everything's going well, dude. You said, could you talk a little about the tech infrastructure in Indonesia? I'm planning to move back to Asia at one point, and that's a place that crossed my mind. Okay, great question. And how stars align. I love it. Sometimes the minute you ask me that question or I saw it on YouTube, thanks so much for putting it on there, Zenon. Really appreciate it. I'm sure other people are thinking about it as well. I was sent a message from my mate Christian, shouted out to you in earlier this episode, that he was at an event in Bali, in Nusa Dua. And this was the event he was at. Basically, the largest in Southeast Asia, Web3 conference and expo. Christian was at that. I'd love to hear your thoughts, actually, man. Finally, when we get to meet face-to-face, of how that was. I did some reading on it, learned from more than 40 industry thought leaders from the US, UK, Singapore, Japan, Canada, who innovated Web3 companies such as Coinbase, Binance, Game Credit, Sandbox, Cardano, EdgeCap. I mean, yeah, all you blockchainers, this is, we're looking at a potential explosion, a good explosion in this kind of technology, and Indonesia is wanting to place itself then and as the digital energy of Asia, as it says here, unleashing Indonesia's potential as Asia's Web3 investment destination. If you're in to all things computer, coding, software, Web3, blockchain, crypto, get over here now. And there you go, mate. Check it out, www.nxcs, or shall I say nxcsummit.com. Have a read of that. And hey, maybe when they do the next one, you can come on over. Door always, of course, welcome for you, my friend. All right, we finish with a quote of inspiration. Uncertainty is the only certainty there is, and knowing how to live with insecurity is the only security. John Allen Paulos, thank you very much. I resonate with that, as I'm sure some of you out there do too. Hope you've enjoyed this. I packed a lot in. I don't know how long it's taken. I hope it's under an hour. I apologize if it isn't. Thank you for staying with me to the end. Any questions, comments, please put them down underneath the video or email us at info@jedisinvest.com. As always, join the wave, be of service, make that change.